Karen from County Fairgrounds USA, countyfairgrounds.net. Welcome to today's podcast.
SBC Fair, this is Jennifer. How may I help you?
Here. Hello, Jennifer. Hi. Okay, so the San Bernardino Fair is coming up. How many years has this fair been running?
This will be the 74th.
Okay, so what's new and exciting this year?
New and exciting? Actually, it's really exciting, especially on the carnival side. Due to COVID and being one of the, there's been some first fairs, a lot of them up north, but being that down here in the southern area, this is basically the first run for our carnival that we partner with, which is Helm and Sons Amusement. We are actually going to have carnival rides that we've never had here before, that we haven't had in over 10 years, which includes an Insomniac ride that's typically at the Daisy Festival. And we're going to have the giant roller coaster back. So we're pretty excited there.
Okay, I noticed that you do something that a lot I've never seen county fairs really do before. You're running for 3 weekends in a row, and you're closed during the week. Is that because of COVID?
Yes, and of course, financial situations. We're really open, so we're typically open 7 days. That's what our normal fair runs. We talked about adding another weekend just because, you know, it's one of the first in our area, so we thought we could possibly capitalize on a third weekend, especially with the occupancy load limitations that we have. And so with that being said, instead of us being open during the week, we're actually running 9 days. So we're actually gaining only 2 days. So within our budgets and all of that, it's only 2 days we're adding versus, if we were to run during the week and everything.
Okay. So one of the most important questions this year is going to be, how are you handling the COVID? What are the rules for the general public?
We, being a state agency, do have to follow all CDC guidelines that are set forth that the state of California has adopted. So therefore, whatever the current rule is, we do have to abide by. So, and of course, everyone knows that our state isn't making any huge decisions until June 15th, which will be 2 days after our fair closes. So as of right now, yes, we will require, face masks. We do have the, try to keep your distance. So tons of signs, tons of notification before they enter the gate. And
I always like to ask, because I am a senior, do you have special parking for seniors and a special entry gate and wheelchairs?
So again, due to CDC guidelines, in order for fairs to function, they actually put the fairs under amusement parks. And this has been the biggest question that we've been getting this whole time. And one of the requirements under amusement parks is point of contacts. And therefore, we have to limit as many point of contacts that we can. So one way that we limited that was at our main gate. And for the first time, we're actually adopting the one ticket price for everything at the main gate, just like Magic Mountain or Disneyland does. So as of right now, no, there's no discounts of any of that. It's $40 GA for 12 and up, and then a $30 children's rate ticket price.
Okay.
And as far as parking, no. I mean, we have our handy-capable parking lots or spots, but other than that, it's we are offering free parking though for the first time, which is actually not very common for many fairs to do. But we did offer free parking for this year.
Sounds like you're under a lot of work because things have changed so much.
Oh, it's an interesting year, but I will tell you, our goal was to bring something to the community. And like many, many people, we don't do well with change. So we're hearing that in the community. However, in so many cases, our hands are tied, and for us to give something to the community that I know people want to get out, we just have to, roll with the rules and the guidelines and see what's going to happen on May 29th.
So what has been your attendance in prior years? Do you know?
Over the 7 days, we average between $175,000 to $200,000.
Okay. And is there an attendance limit on this year?
So we are limited to 7,500 people at one time. So we will be clocking people in and out. But yes, we cannot let more than 7,500 at one time.
Okay, now let's pick the fair apart a little bit. What kinds of grounds acts do you have?
So we actually we have our favorites that we've had years and years and years. Skip Banks will be here. We will have Chaz, our jungle drum person, here. And then we haven't had her for 10 years, but we have Flo the Clown coming this year. And then new to our facilities, never been here, is Mickey O'Connor. And he's a juggling magician strolling act. So
that sounds like fun.
And
okay,
then,
what about what about food?
Food, we're going to have all the local favorites. We do have one new food vendor, and that is Juicy's, and he's got his barbecue out there. But we have a lot of our returning favorites. So all the giant corn dogs, cotton candy funnel cakes, deep fried Snicker bars, which is my particular favorite, which I've missed over the years, so I can't wait to get my first one. They will, of course, all be here.
Okay. How has your fair been? Buildings? Do you have? I would imagine you have buildings with ag exhibits in them, and 4-H. Do you have that?
We will have livestock, yes, and we will be running a small schedule of shows. So we are bringing that back as well.
All right, and so the attendance in the building, I would imagine, would be monitored too.
Well, they're all outside barns, so we only have one building, and yes, that will be monitored in and out.
One of the questions I ask as a senior and under this situation is, what about restroom facilities?
We have plenty, and we're actually, for the first time this year, contracting out the janitorial service. I feel that bathrooms are probably one of the most important aspects of any event you have out there, and so we are going to have tenants actually manning each of the bathrooms, especially with COVID, making sure that they're cleaned and stocked and just cycled through more than they would normally be with fairs to keep them safe and clean for our patrons.
All right. What hours does the carnival run?
Our hours are 1 to 10 every day we're open.
Oh, that's good. All right. Mm-hmm. Do you have grand, stage acts? Concerts?
So we aren't doing anything major. We actually turned to our local community. So we're going to have all of our local favorite bands that play throughout the community up here. We did bring in some tribute type bands that'll play as well, and then some local community acts as well. But we're having basically one stage that'll just highlight our local people out here. The one thing I keep telling people about our fair this year is it's going to be a true, I think, county fair feel. And we're leaning onto our community and our partners to really bring it on for the community.
Of course, like what you did say, that you are one of the first county fairs. You're my first county fair interview this year. In years past, I've interviewed so many fairs, and things have changed so much because the fairs are all booking, say, like most of them, from July on. They moved all the spring fairs, and a lot of them aren't running, but a lot of them have moved. And things, I feel for people because things are getting a little hectic right now. So what has been in the past your favorite part of the fair?
So my favorite part of the fair, which we were not able to bring back, when I started here 10 years ago, this will be my 10th fair. I'm going to be here for 11. But I was in charge of the school tours. So unfortunately, my favorite part, I still won't bring back this year, with schools not being actually all, full in service. It wasn't something we could provide. So next year I will be excited. There's so many kids that get to come in. We average 25 to 3,000 kids that get to come. And I know for some of them, that's their one and only time to come to the fair. And so to see their smiles and hear them say the cutest off-the-wall things, that's my favorite part. So I will be excited when I get to bring that back next year. But other than that, just seeing people come through the gate, like I told, people when I got hired as a CEO I got hired later 2019, so this is actually my first fair as the CEO of this facility. I just love, there's no other job I feel that can be as rewarding as running these fairgrounds, because it doesn't matter if it's the fair or if it's a monster truck show that we do annually. To see our community come together with their friends and their family and smile and laugh, that is the best part, and I consider it as my extended family. So I truly think that the community is a part of my family, and we can give something to them every year with the annual fair.
Right, and now you're talking how I feel too, because that's why I do what I do, because county fairs are usually very happy places, and we all need happy.
We do, especially this year. That's why we really, it was a 5 weeks. Once we approved to go in person, we had 5 weeks to get this thing going. Mm-hmm. But that's why we were ready. This community is ready. Our board was ready, and we had great partners that was like, all right, let's do it. So that's why we're pushing hard to get it to come off. A lot of people ask me that. Why didn't you just wait till after June 15th where maybe you wouldn't have to worry about so many things? I'm like, because that would be too late. And then I can't compete against, we can't compete against Del Mar and Orange County, so I can't go on top of them. So we have to do it. And you know what? We're able to do it. We can do it. And, we've been the good thing I tell people is the world has already adapted to COVID rules. So it shouldn't be that hard.
I forgot to ask you about vendors. We have lost so many of our vendors. Are you having vendors?
We are having one commercial building, and actually, I thought the same thing, but our vendors are ready. So we've had a positive feedback from our vendors, and they're ready to go. And even with the added weekends, they're like, no, we'll do, because we thought we were going to have to shift some in and out. They'll only do 2 weekends. They might only want to do one, depending on their funds. But no, most of them are happy. They're excited to get back out, just like all of us, just to get out and see people again. And we've been successful with the vendors, thankfully.
Yeah, a lot of the fairs have been having a hard time finding vendors. I've been really feeling for the vendors. I don't know what a lot of them did during this crisis, so it's been worrisome.
Well, and I'll tell you too, since we did modify our floor plan, so we're smaller, and we're only filling one building, we really only needed to find 45 to 50 vendors. So that probably made it a little bit easier, too, for us. And again, our local community, your farmers markets and swap meets out there, that's where I suggest everybody start looking. And if you shrink down to where they're not doing 5 days in a row, it was actually more acceptable for them only doing 3 days in a row with a break and then come back 3 days in a row. It's easier to staff. It's easier to it just kind of made it a little bit easier for everybody to get their feet wet again.
Now I want to ask you, there's different events that go on at this fairgrounds throughout the year. Do you know what event is coming up after this fair?
We're working really hard right now to actually bring monster trucks. I think that's probably one of the favorite that everybody missed the most, and so we're working with the promoter, especially because we didn't get to bring it for fair, because we usually have a monster truck during fair as well. So we're working on getting that here. We're actually shooting for the middle of July, and we're going to do it. It's actually going to be a 2-day event. So that would probably be our first major event, post-COVID. And then we've got a few other events that are locked in for September, October, November.
Okay. Well, I hope you have a terrific fair. I've enjoyed talking to you. Thank you. I've really, really enjoyed talking to you very much, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you for reaching out to us.
Okay. Bye, Jennifer.
Bye.
Bye-bye.